Hey everybody, it's Wendy back to pour into you once again, talking about the power of release. And so I know it's been a minute since I talked to you about the power of release, and I kind of guided you through an exercise. So I kind of wanted to come back and talk to you about how to release and really kind of walk you through the whole process, right? So you'll see me looking down because there's a lot of information that I want to make sure that I give to you. The first question you have to ask yourself is, are you aware that feelings of discouragement and sadness lead to anxiety? Okay. So that's the first thing that you have to ask yourself. Are you even aware of the fact that feelings of discouragement and sadness can lead to having anxiety? Because sometimes, we feel like we're having anxiety or we start to feel really anxious and we don't really stop to think about what could be triggering it, right? The second question that I want you to think about is, you to ask yourself is, how are you releasing it? Right? How are you releasing it? Because once you realize that, oh my goodness, like there's things going on, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling discouraged. And so that's leading to me feeling a little anxious. How are you releasing it? Because remember, in the very first video that I shot about a month and a half ago, I talked about one of the ways, closing your eyes and allowing yourself to think the irrational thoughts, allowing yourself to just kind of say them out loud, because they're already housed there anyways, right? And we need to release them, right? And so when we talk about releasing it, what I want you to think about is doing something physical. Right? I always give the example of screaming, and I know it's so uncomfortable for most people, but it is one of the things. Think about after you've had that good cry. For those of you that allow yourselves to cry, think about after you've had that good cry and how great it feels to finally release all the emotion that you've been holding in. So when I talk about doing something physical, screaming is something physical, crying is something physical, right? Talking it out loud is something physical, right? Jumping jacks, push-ups, doing something to physically get rid of the anxiety that you are feeling, that, could be caused by, especially during this time, even though things have started to open up today. Things are still very uncertain. We're not sure if shelter in place will be put back in place, or if we're actually going to make it to, I don't know, is it 3 phases or maybe 4, right? So we have to continue to think about these uncertain times and, what is triggering the anxiety, and then again, what will be the physical release, right? And so once you've done the release, right, the next thing is you need to channel the anxiety. Okay, so let me go back. First, we ask ourselves, are we aware that our feelings is what, and what we're feeling is leading to us feeling anxious? Then we practice the physical release, right? We want to physically release it. Then we move on to the third step, which is, how are we channeling it, right? How are you channeling it? And then the next thing is, and I'll go back and give you examples. Believe me, Wendy always does. How are you managing your anxiety? Right? So let me break down all of them, right? So what this is, it's the process, okay? You acknowledge, you release, you channel, and then you manage, right? And once you find your routine, it's one that you will practice over and over again. It's something you can do daily. It's something you can do several times a day, because sometimes things are happening. Remember, it is the process. Acknowledge, release, channel, and manage, right? So again, let's go back. You have to acknowledge that there's a problem, right? People say recognition is half the battle. No, it's about 10%, because we can go back and we can ignore it. But what I want you to do is I want you to acknowledge how you are feeling, and then start to think about all the things that are going on in your life that could be making you feel that way, right? Then you practice the physical release, right? The screaming, the jogging, the punching a punching bag, push-ups, jumping jacks, crying, talking it out loud. I remember my grandmother used to walk around the house talking to herself, and I would think, is something wrong with my grandmother? But no, she was just talking out all the irrational scenarios. Like I said, they're already housed there. We need to get rid of them. And then next, we want to move to the channeling. How are you channeling the anxiety, right? Are you being creative? Are you being a servant to someone? Not to someone, but are you serving if you have a serving heart? How are you channeling the anxiety, right? Are you, let me think of another creative one. Some people like to paint. Some people like to do puzzles. But remember, doing yoga, right? Doing things like that is channeling it. Like, how are you channeling it? I'm sorry, I'll go back. Yoga actually is part of the maintenance. So forgive me for that. But the channeling piece is like, what are you doing to kind of occupy your time? And I don't mean stay busy, but what are you doing? Something that really makes your heart smile, right? That's what I want you to think about channeling. Not just doing something to stay busy, but doing things that actually make your heart smile. That's how you can channel it. So remember, we acknowledge it, we release it, now we channel it, and now we want to manage it. This is the maintenance piece, right? This is how you maintain your sanity. This is how you maintain your peace, right? You do yoga, you meditate, you pray, you maybe go on a walk, right? Not a run, because see, a run gets our heart going and we're releasing. Just taking in the beautiful scenery, right? And like I said, once you get down your routine, you will learn that once you acknowledge it and figure out where your feelings are coming from and what you are feeling, and then you release it, and then you figure out how to channel it, and then you maintain it, this will be a lifelong lesson that you can take with you. You can give it, not give it away, but you can also work with other people in your family, with your children, with your mate, your parents, right? Your siblings, your friends. Because a lot of times people are just frantic and they want answers. And the process is an answer, right? This is an answer to how to deal with our anxiety. When we're grieving, we have anxiety. When we have to up and move, when we lose a job, when our children leave and go away to college, when our children start school, when we start a new job, there are so many things that bring about anxiety. And the process is, remember, acknowledge, release, channel, and maintain will help you get through those uncertain times. I pray that this is a blessing to someone. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe if you're watching this on my YouTube channel. Please feel free to share this. Please feel free that if you see someone struggling and, they're just looking for answers, to tell them, hey, I got an answer for you, and it's called the process. Blessings always, you guys.